Hello there! It's time for some more fun Bible crafts. Today we have two simple crafts that highlight the story of Joseph. Now, of course, there are a lot of different elements of the Joseph story. So today we're just going to focus on a portion of that as we look at it in a fun and crafty manner. Now, the first one that we're going to make is, of course, the coat of many colors. Because how can you talk about Joseph without talking about that wonderful rainbow coat? And how can you talk about it without making a fun creation? So we are going to make a Bible memory verse coat, not quote, though it has that too. So we're going to start off with a blank piece of paper as a backdrop. So you can use any color. You might want to do white to make the colors pop out. I'm just going to do red because it's kind of fun. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make my captions and outline. So for my outline, I'm going to kind of leave some room at the top for my verse. I'm going to say the story of Joseph. And then I'll have, and I mean you can reference where this is found, which actually covers quite a bit of passages, verses, chapters, you get the idea. Now, going to draw. This is by no means the most phenomenal thing, but we're going to draw Joseph's coat. And then I'm going to fill it in kind of mosaic style. And that's where the Bible verse comes in. So these are his hands. I'm not great at drawing hands. Give him a face. All right, so here's Joseph. Now, for his coat, this is the fun part. So I'm going to take several strips of paper, which are, of course, in various colors. And I'm going to cut these into some square pieces. Those ought to do. Some of them I might need to cut down a little smaller. So this is going to be a pieced together mosaic of sorts, but with a fun twist. Now, if you want to get extra creative, rather than doing this with just paper, you could also use cloth. And that would give a fabric dimension to your fun craft, as well as the color element. But it's totally up to you, however you want to do this. So here's my Technicolor Dream Coat here. And what I'm going to do is, on the different pieces of paper that I've cut out, we're going to have different parts of a verse. And if you have a specific verse that you're memorizing, or you want to use a different verse than the one I use, go right ahead. I'm going to use a verse from Genesis 50 that highlights how God used this situation. So I'm going to say, I'm going to first glue my pieces down, and then write the verse over it. Now, another fun way you could operate this is you could have the words kind of pasted or taped or stapled so that you could lift them like a lift-a-flap, and then you could put your verse underneath that so that it's sort of a helpful memory tool. The kids kind of learn as they go. But again, just another possibility. Do whatever works best for you. And if you have younger students, you can use this as a fun opportunity to, talk about colors and shapes and putting things together and puzzle. And of course, you would be helping them with the elements of writing the words in if you have a younger audience. So once we have our pieces more or less in order here, now I'm going to write my verse. And of course, you can overlap however you want to do that. And here I'm going to write coat of many colors. And then right here, I'm going to write my verse, taken from Genesis 50. I'm going to say, slightly paraphrased, you meant evil, but God used it for good to save many lives. And also, if you're learning this, it's kind of fun. You can cut apart, put the words on, and then scramble them and unscramble them, and that can be kind of a helpful, fun memory tool. And there's our reference. And then you can glue it on at the end. So, and of course, you can get more elaborate. You can put extra materials or fun things on Joseph's head, or however you want to do that. But that's just the basic, voila, ta-da, Joseph and his coat. Next, we're going to take a look at Joseph in jail. So again, I'm going to pick a piece of paper to start off with. And actually, I'm going to pick two pieces of paper. And I'm going to have these be the same color. You'll see why soon. So on one paper, I'm going to give kind of my background information here. And here I'm going to write God always has a plan, and we're talking about the story of Joseph. Da-da-da. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some elements of that Joseph story. Now, I'm going to have the dreams. So over here, I'm going to put some cloth, like your cloudy dreams at night, something like that. And this is a part of the story of Joseph. And we're going to put down, where's my stars? I have some stars here somewhere. There we go. So this is kind of my corner with lots of dream elements. So we'll remember that in the story, there were dreams, and some of those dreams had to do with corn. And you could draw this. I'm going to cut it out to kind of make it more fun. Here's just went corn. You could also do cows. You could also do bread for the bread maker. Lots of ways to go about that. And there we go. Another part of, so dreams are part of Joseph's story. And you've also got Joseph himself. So I'm just going to cut him out. Try not to make him too humongous here. Or I could just draw him. He might be just a tad bit big. We'll find out. This is why it's sometimes helpful to draw things first, but I'm just attacking it freehand. We'll see what happens. Here's my little paper doll Joseph. And we're going to give him a face. And he's going to have a sad face. You'll see why momentarily. And he does not have his special coat in this one. So here's poor little Joseph. And then we'll have another thing or two that we add to this picture. I'm going to put Joseph down on the other outskirts here. I'm going to put Egypt, and you can draw or paste some pyramids. There we go. We can do a well. We can also, I'm going to add in here a cross, because there are similarities in this story of Joseph and the story of Jesus, which are wonderful to talk about. So I'm going to put salvation. So he saves his family, just like God saves us. All right, now on the other part here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some jail lines out. Basically, I'm going to fold my paper a little bit so that I can make a slight cut, and I'm going to snip down here, so we're basically cutting out about an inch or so wide, and then coming up long. And we're just going to cut out a few of those, because what I'm doing is essentially, it's sort of a pop-out way of telling the story. It's almost making a three-dimensional booklet here. So I'll have my jail. Now we're going to put the jail over the Joseph. And we get the sad, sad idea that, of course, Joseph is in jail. So here is poor little Joseph. I might actually need to strategically move him so he can peek out of those jail bars. And there we go. I'm going to staple this at the side. There we go. And so now we have this glimpse. Here's sad little Joseph in jail. And we're going to give another caption. Even in hard times. So, even in hard times, God has a plan. And here's the story of Joseph, which you can infuse with other elements of the story, other items, things that help you remember it. Again, totally up to you to take it and make it your own, but hopefully a couple of fun and creative ways to both learn and celebrate the story and have some crafting fun. So, hopefully that can give you some helpful ideas. Feel free to use it or toss it and come back again because we have new crafts and messages every week. Now, go make some crafts, make some disciples, have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time.